every breath we take, we dive deep into the game's core. Scrapes and victories in doctors' hands, from the sideline straight to the score. Hereford pride in every breath we take, we dive deep into the game's core. Scrapes and victories in doctors' hands, from the sideline straight to the score. The starting lineup's here to ignite, passion running wild in the night. White faces strong, defy the storm, together we shine, keeping us warm. Injuries mended with skill and care, stories told from my heart to yours. From field to clinic, we do it right, rocking loud for white face nights. White faces, we stand so tall, every hit and every fall. Join us now under stadium lights, the starting lineup taking flight. Stay tuned every week to the starting lineup, feel the pulse of Hereford pride.
And welcome back to season 2 of the Starting Lineup podcast. We're glad to be back with you and starting another great year of Herd Sports and Kinesiology. We're your hosts, Noah Zamora
and Isaac Dominguez. Let's talk heat. The weather is so hot right now. The athletes all over Texas are starting their seasons off practicing in it.
That's right. We know that the heat poses a major danger to athletes or people working out in the heat. That's why the UIL has put a new guideline to keep athletes safe. The wet bulb globe temperature is a measurement that combines outside temperature, wind speed, humidity, sun angle, and cloud cover to give an accurate measurement of the heat stress on the body.
Our athletic trainers have been using wet bulb measurements for 3 years now to monitor the heat for our student athletes, as well as having water readily available. Frequent breaks for players, ice tubs in the training room and out at the football, and taco kits for off-site facilities. TACO stands for Tarp Assisted Cooling with Oscillation, which allows for a person to be cooled using a tarp and ice water in the case of an emergency.
Symptoms of heat exhaustion include dehydration, fatigue, headache, weakness, sweaty skin, lightheadedness, dizziness, and nausea. Symptoms of heat stroke, which can be life-threatening, include dehydration, hot and sweaty skin, altered mental status or confusion, low blood pressure, or loss of consciousness. If you see any of these symptoms, please speak up and get an athlete help right away. Heat exhaustion can be treated in a cool environment with ice and fluids and may need IV. Heat stroke is a medical emergency that requires immediate cooling with cold water, immersion, and calling 911.
Segment, we will be talking about the seriousness of heat illness and 3 specific athletes who died to heat strokes. The first athlete is Corey Stringer. Corey was a Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings who suffered a heat stroke on his second day of NFL training camp. In 2001, Corey died at the hospital the next day due to complications of his heat stroke. The Corey Stringer Institute was founded by the University of Connecticut in 2010 by his widow Kelsey, and with the goal of preventing deaths in the sport, especially from heat strokes.
The second player we will talk about, Jordan McNair. Jordan was a 19-year-old football player at the University of Maryland when he had a heat stroke following an off-season conditioning workout in 2018. An investigation following Jordan's death showed negligence on the athletic training staff and the university for failing to recognize the symptoms of extensional heat stroke and getting him medical care in time. The Jordan McNair Foundation was founded in June 2018 after Jordan's death by his parents, with the goal of educating and prevention of heat-related illness and death in student athletes.
Our third athlete we will feature is Braden Bradford. Braden was an 18-year-old freshman football player in 2019 at Garden City Community College in Kansas. Braden died of an exertional heat stroke on his second day in Kansas after an intense conditioning test on a hot and humid evening. Just like Jordan McNair, no one assessed his core temperature or attempted to cool his body. There was also no water breaks allowed for athletes during the conditioning test, according to other football players, which was contracted by what The school told reporters all three athletes could have survived if proper hydration assessment and cooling protocols were followed. Now for the Herd Sports Report. My name is Cadence and I will be bringing you the football report. The Herd started off the season with the scrimmage at Andrews last week and home this week versus Caprock. We saw some good things from each group and are excited to kick the year off at home on Friday, August 30th against the Lubbock High Westerns.
The Herd tennis team started their season off going 1-1 against Canyon and Dumas. Their match against Pampa was canceled and they will resume play on August 27th against West Plains at home.
The golf team will start off their season on September 3rd and 4th at home in the Hereford Invitational. The Herd cross country team will start their year off this weekend in Clovis and next weekend at the Dimmitt Invitational.
The Lady Whiteface volleyball team is in Farmersville this weekend for a tournament. After going to Mansfield last week, the JV team is competing in the AISD tournament as all high school teams will have their home opener on September 6th versus Midland Legacy.
Do you know that 43% of heat-related illnesses occur in just 3 states, California, Texas, and Arizona? Did you know that each year heat waves result in more fatalities in the U.S. than tornadoes, earthquakes, floods, and hurricanes combined?
Did you know most medical and kinesiology terms come from Latin and Greek root words? The most interesting term I learned this week was sagittal plane.
Thank you for joining us this week for the starting lineup.
We hope you enjoyed our show this week and will tune in next week. Go Herd!
Fly. Stay tuned every week to the starting line. Feel the pulse of Hereford pride. Sports news, tips, and victory cheers. Onward, white faces side by side.